This is Mark Gunn Media.
Hit it!
Hello, my name is Mark Gunn. Welcome to Gunshots Straight from the Hip. The views expressed in this podcast are those of the host and not reflective of anyone else. This episode, the kid, the clock, and a whole bunch of hypocrites. One of the biggest stories of the last few days involves a 14-year-old whiz kid, a homemade clock, and another display of good old American Islamophobia.
This high school freshman loves to tinker with all things electronic, but his latest invention got the 14-year-old hauled in handcuffs to the police station in Irving, Texas. His homemade digital clock, a maze of wires and circuit boards inside a metal case. He built it at home to impress his teachers, but one of them thought it might be a bomb and alerted authorities. But arresting a 14-year-old?
Now, several questions come to mind. One, if they really thought it was a bomb, why wasn't the bomb squad called? Two, if they really thought it was a bomb, why wasn't the school evacuated? And three, if they didn't think it was a bomb, why was Ahmed arrested in the first place?
I think this wouldn't even be a question if his name wasn't Ahmed Mohammed.
The school screwed up, and they know it. They even told the press that Ahmed would be welcomed back with open arms. By the way, he was given a 3-day suspension. Now, the saving grace in all of this was the outpouring of a lot of support for this kid. Tweets from MIT, Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg, Hillary Clinton, and even an invitation to the White House from President Obama. Now, the coolest thing for me in this whole mess was that Ahmed's fellow students got the last laugh by organizing a protest of sorts. They all took clocks to school as a show of solidarity. Now, once again, some so-called Americans continue to act like mouth breeders with more anti-Muslim Toro poo-poo.
A woman in custody facing hate crime charges after telling police she pushed the man to his death because she thought he was a Muslim.
We don't serve Muslims here.
Time to screw with the Muslims.
They always start off with, you're a terrorist, Osama lover, towel head, camel jockey.
You wouldn't let Muslims shop at your store?
I sure wouldn't.
Now, these folks call themselves Christians and are anything but. Now, they want to justify their hatred by bringing up the September 11th tragedy. Now, we all know of the thousands of Americans that died that day, but these idiots conveniently forget that there were Muslims among the victims. They forget that there were Muslims among the first responders, and they also forget, or simply choose not to hear, that some of the loudest voices denouncing terrorism are Muslims.
We've condemned ISIS, we condemn Al-Qaeda, we've condemned so many different terrorist organizations, but it seems like at this point, nobody wants to hear what we're trying to say.
I would ask these clowns what they actually knew about the religion of Islam, other than the garbage they've been spoon-fed by Fox News, Rush Limbaugh, and other rabid right-wing media.
I proclaim the name of the Lord Jesus Christ over the capital of Texas. I stand against Islam and the false prophet Muhammad. Islam will never dominate the United States, and by the grace of God, it will not dominate Texas.
I would also ask if they actually ever spent any real time with Muslims. I have. I've talked with and prayed with them. By the way, the call to prayer is one of the most beautiful things I've ever witnessed. Muslims are just like the rest of us.
We're a faith of love, of compassion. We don't hurt people.
The twisted, hateful xenophobia in this country is just one more cancer that needs to be done away with. Part of the problem is with the silence of some of our elected officials and those that want to be.
We have a problem in this country. It's called Muslims. We know our current president is one. Right. You know he's not even an American. We have training camps growing where they want to kill us. Mm-hmm. That's my question. When can we get rid of it?
We're going to be looking at a lot of different things. And, a lot of people are saying that, and a lot of people are saying that bad things are happening out there. We're going to be looking at that and plenty of other things.
The other problem is not enough right-thinking people are doing enough to keep this cancer from spreading.
I can't trust Obama. I have read about him. He's an Arab. He is not.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with.
He has a choice to practice his religion anywhere. That's the reason I wear the uniform, so anyone can live free in this country.
Now, I believe that there's a shared delusion among xenophobes and racists. They all have this all-or-nothing mentality regarding people who aren't like them. Muslim extremists, who are no different from Christian extremists, blame the whole for the actions of a few, and then have the nerve to claim that there's a war on Christians.
And not every Muslim is a terrorist, but except for Timothy McVeigh, every terrorist has been a Muslim. Okay?
What about the Klan?
They're not doing terrorist activities right now. We're talking about a group that wants to do away with our way of life here, sir. With all due respect, I don't think there's any comparison.
They also lie about history. Homegrown terrorist attacks pose a much greater threat than anything else. Did you realize that the first act of terrorism on American soil was perpetrated against Americans by Americans? Google the 1921 bombing of Black Wall Street. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, an innocent American kid full of promise was subjected to the ugliness of his fellow Americans simply because he was a Muslim.
It made me feel like I wasn't human. It made me feel like a criminal.
There are those that say America's going to hell because of outsiders like Ahmed and millions of other Muslim Americans who spend their lives just wanting to be. After all, they aren't real Americans, right? Ironically, and I've been saying this for years, that this country will be destroyed from within by so-called real Americans. Assalamu alaikum. You've been listening to Gunshots Straight from the Hip, the podcast. The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and not representative of anyone else. If you have any comments, please feel free to leave them or shoot me an email at markgunmedia.com. Thank you for listening.
Mark Gun Media. No hype, no hoopla, just damn good work.